Her best friend encouraged the affair. I got revenge. I didn't catch my wife cheating by accident. I caught the whisper that pushed her into it, her best friend. They thought I was clueless, already broken. What they didn't know was I was quietly setting the ending they'd never recover from. My name is Daniel Hart, and I'm a 36-year-old high school history teacher. Not exactly the revenge type, right? I'm the guy who helps students after class. The one who sponsors the chess club. The one who believes in second chances and the inherent goodness of people. Or at least, I used to. I'd been married to Vanessa for 9 years. We met at a teachers' conference. She taught English at a private school across town. Smart, beautiful, passionate about literature and social justice. We bonded over our shared idealism about education and changing young lives. For the first 6 years, we were solid. We traveled during summer breaks, hosted dinner parties, talked about starting a family someday. We weren't perfect, but we were partners. Then her best friend Lauren moved back to town. Lauren Mitchell, Vanessa's college roommate. The one she'd stayed up late with talking about dreams and boys. The one who'd been her maid of honor at our wedding before moving to LA to make it as an actress. Spoiler alert, she didn't make it. Lauren came back to our mid-sized Connecticut town after 8 years of failed auditions, bad relationships, and what she called finding herself. She was 34, single, bitter, and had a way of making everyone around her feel like their happiness was naive. "You're so lucky," she'd tell Vanessa with this smile that didn't reach her eyes. "You have Daniel. Stability. A real life." But the way she said real life made it sound like a prison sentence. Vanessa started spending more time with Lauren. Girls' nights. Weekend brunches. Shopping trips. I didn't mind at first. Vanessa had been lonely with Lauren gone, and I was happy she had her friend back. But then things started changing. Vanessa began questioning everything about our life. Our modest house wasn't good enough anymore. My teacher's salary was limiting us. Our quiet lifestyle was boring. The future we'd planned, kids, a bigger place eventually, maybe a cabin in the mountains, suddenly wasn't exciting enough. Lauren says we are settling, Vanessa told me one night. She says we are living like we are already 60. Lauren's been back for 2 months and she's already telling you how to live your life. I asked, trying to keep my tone light. She's not telling me how to live. She's just asking questions, making me think about whether I'm actually happy or just comfortable. That should have been my first real warning. The second warning came when Vanessa started going to the gym. Not our usual gym, a new one. CrossFit Edge downtown. Lauren's gym. Vanessa had never been into intense workouts before. Suddenly she was going 5 times a week, coming home energized and glowing, talking about her trainer Marcus and the amazing community there. I was happy she'd found something she enjoyed. Encouraged it, even. Bought her new workout clothes. Told her she looked great. I was supportive. Maybe too supportive. The third warning was the phone. Vanessa had always been casual about her phone. Left it on the counter. Let me answer texts if her hands were full. We had each other's passwords, not because we were suspicious, just because it was convenient. Then suddenly, her phone was always face down. Always with her. Always password protected with a code I didn't know. I changed it for security, she said when I asked. There's been a lot of identity theft stuff in the news. Reasonable explanation. Except for the way she clutched that phone like it was the nuclear codes. My friend and fellow teacher, Greg, noticed before I fully accepted what was happening. "Man, I don't want to overstep," he said one day in the teacher's lounge. "But Vanessa seems different lately. Is everything okay?" She's just been spending a lot of time with her friend who moved back. They are reconnecting. Greg looked uncomfortable. My wife mentioned seeing Vanessa at that new coffee shop downtown. With some guy. Looked pretty friendly. My stomach dropped. When? Last Tuesday. Around 2. Thought maybe it was just a work thing, but Lisa said it didn't look like a work thing. I spent the rest of the day trying to convince myself there was an innocent explanation. Maybe it was a colleague. Maybe they were discussing a mutual friend situation. Maybe Lisa misread the situation. But I knew better. That evening, I did something I never thought I'd do. I checked the phone records online. Vanessa and I shared a family plan. I had access to all the call and text logs. I just never had a reason to look before. What I found made my blood run cold. Hundreds of texts to a number I didn't recognize. Dozens of calls. Multiple times every day. Often late at night when we were supposedly both asleep. I cross-referenced the number. Marcus Rivers. Her CrossFit trainer. The texts weren't in the logs, just the metadata showing they existed. But the pattern was clear. Morning texts before work. Afternoon texts during her planning period. Late-night texts when she was just scrolling before bed. I sat in my car in our driveway for 20 minutes, trying to process what I was looking at. Then I went inside and acted completely normal. Because here's the thing about being a history teacher. I know how wars are won. You don't charge in with emotion and aggression. You gather intelligence. You plan. You wait for the perfect moment. And you make sure when you strike, it counts. Over the next week, I started paying attention. Really paying attention. I noticed that Vanessa always texted someone right before suggesting we needed space for the evening. I noticed she wore her best perfume to the gym but not on our date nights. I noticed she started picking fights over nothing, like she was trying to justify something to herself. But the real breakthrough came when I overheard a phone call. Vanessa was in our bedroom with the door mostly closed. I'd come home early, teacher workday got cancelled, and she didn't hear me come in. I know, Lauren. I know, Vanessa was saying. But what if I'm making a mistake? Silence while Lauren responded. Daniel's a good guy. That's the problem. His. Safe. Predictable. Marcus makes me feel alive again. More silence. You really think so? You think I deserve to explore this? My heart was pounding. I moved closer to the door, careful not to make a sound. You're right. You're right. I've been playing it safe my whole life. Maybe it's time to take a risk. To choose passion over comfort. Lauren's voice was faint through the phone, but I could hear the energy in it. Encouraging. Pushing. Okay, I'll do it. I'll tell Daniel I need some time to figure things out. Maybe suggest we separate for a while so I can get clarity. My wife was planning to leave me, and her best friend was cheering her on. I backed away silently, went back outside, and sat in my car for the second time that week. But this time, I wasn't processing shock. I was planning. Because I'd just learned something crucial. This wasn't just about Vanessa and Marcus. Lauren was actively encouraging the affair. Manipulating my wife. Poisoning our marriage from the inside. The question was, why? I spent that evening at the library, old habit from my research days, and started digging into Lauren's life. Social media was a goldmine. Lauren's Instagram was a carefully curated highlight reel of a life she wanted everyone to think she had. Inspirational quotes about choosing yourself and not settling. Photos at expensive restaurants she couldn't afford. Check-ins at events that screamed, "I'm successful and happy." But her LinkedIn told a different story. She'd been fired from 3 jobs in LA. Her IMDb page showed exactly 2 credits, background extra in a toothpaste commercial and a non-speaking role in a student film. Her last stable employment was as a hostess at a restaurant that closed 2 years ago. Lauren wasn't living her best life. She was barely surviving. And now she was back in our town, watching her college best friend living the stable life she'd rejected, and she couldn't stand it. This wasn't about Vanessa's happiness. This was about Lauren's misery. I dug deeper. Called a mutual friend who still kept in touch with people from Vanessa's college days. Lauren? Oh man, Tracy said. She was always competitive with Vanessa. Even back then. When Vanessa got the lead in the school play, Lauren dropped out of theatre entirely. When Vanessa got into the better graduate program, Lauren suddenly decided grad school was selling out. I never knew that, I said. Vanessa probably didn't see it. Lauren was good at making it seem like support. But those of us on the outside? We saw it. Lauren wanted what Vanessa had, but she also wanted Vanessa to fail so she wouldn't feel so bad about her own choices. Everything clicked into place. Lauren wasn't encouraging Vanessa to find happiness. She was encouraging her to blow up her stable life so Lauren wouldn't be the only failure. Now I just needed to prove it. I created a fake Facebook profile. Generic name. Stock photos. Made it look like a recently divorced woman new to the area looking for friends. I sent Lauren a friend request with a message. Saw we have mutual friends. New to town and looking to meet people. Coffee sometime. She accepted within an hour. We met at a coffee shop the next day. I sent flowers to Vanessa's school claiming they were from me, ensuring she'd be busy posting photos and feeling guilty while I was handling business. Lauren showed up looking like she'd tried too hard. Designer bag I knew she couldn't afford. Outfit that screamed I'm doing great while her eyes screamed I'm drowning. I dressed as Michelle, wig, makeup, glasses, completely different style from my usual look. I'd been in theatre in college. I knew how to become someone else. So you're new to town? Lauren asked after we ordered. Just moved here after my divorce, I said, making my voice higher, adding a slight southern accent. Needed a fresh start, you know. Oh honey, I completely understand, Lauren said, and her whole demeanor changed. Suddenly she was the wise friend. The expert on starting over. Divorce is hard, but sometimes it's the best thing for you. That's what everyone says. But it's lonely. Everyone else seems so coupled up and settled. Don't even get me started, Lauren said, leaning in. This whole town is like that. Everyone pretending their boring marriages are so perfect. My best friend. I love her, but she's completely stuck. Nice husband, stable job, same routine every day. She's wasting her youth. Is she unhappy? I asked innocently. She's starting to realize she is, Lauren said with a smile that made my skin crawl. I'm helping her see that there's more to life than playing it safe. Good friend, I said. The best friend tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear, Lauren said. Sometimes people need a push to see that their perfect life is actually a prison. I sipped my coffee to hide my expression. So what's your friend going to do? Well, Lauren said, dropping her voice conspiratorially, there's this guy at her gym. Total upgrade from her husband. Exciting. Passionate. The kind of guy who actually lives life instead of just going through the motions. She's having an affair. Not yet. But she will be. She just needs to give herself permission to choose happiness over obligation. What about her husband? I asked. Won't he be hurt? Lauren waved her hand dismissively. He'll be fine. Honestly, he's kind of boring anyway. Teacher. Like staying home and reading. Never wants to do anything exciting. She's been carrying that relationship for years. Every word was like a knife, but I kept my expression sympathetic and curious. You think she should leave him? I know she should, Lauren said firmly. She deserves better. She deserves passion and excitement. Not some comfortable prison with a man who can't give her the life she wants. I had her. Every word recorded on the phone in my purse. You sound like a really good friend, I said. I just want her to be happy, Lauren said. Even if that means breaking a few eggs, you know. We chatted for another 20 minutes. She told me more about how she was coaching Vanessa, how she'd introduced her to Marcus at the gym, how she'd been encouraging Vanessa to create emotional distance from me. The key is making her see that leaving is her idea, Lauren explained. If I push too hard, she'll resist. But if I just ask the right questions, plant the right seeds, she'll get there on her own. It was manipulation.
Pure calculated manipulation.
When we parted ways, Lauren hugged me. I'm so glad we met. Let's do this again soon. Definitely, I said with a smile. I went straight to my car, took off the wig and glasses, and sat there shaking with anger. But anger wasn't going to help. Strategy would. That night, I made copies of everything. The phone records. The recording of Lauren. Screenshots of Lauren's social media showing her financial struggles and envy. Then I hired a private investigator. I need documentation of my wife's affair, I told him. Photos, timestamps, everything that would hold up in court. How detailed do you want this? He asked. Detailed enough to leave no doubt. But I need something else too. I need you to look into her friend Lauren Mitchell. Financial records, employment history, anything that shows motive for what she's doing. What is she doing? Destroying my marriage for sport. The investigator, a former cop named Ray, nodded slowly. I've seen it before. Miserable people love company. They can't stand watching others be happy. That's exactly what this is. I'll get you everything you need. While Ray worked, I played the perfect husband. I acted completely oblivious. When Vanessa came home late, I asked how her workout was. When she was distant, I gave her space. When she picked fights, I de-escalated. I was giving her all the rope she needed. 2 weeks later, Ray delivered. Photos of Vanessa and Marcus. At coffee shops. At his apartment. At a hotel 40 minutes away where they thought no one would recognize them. Financial records showing Lauren was $30,000 in debt. Employment records showing she'd been fired 3 times for attitude problems. Text messages Ray had pulled from Lauren's phone through a contact at a cell provider. Messages where Lauren literally said, if Vanessa leaves Daniel, maybe I won't feel so bad about my own failures. It was all there. The affair. The manipulation. The motive. I sat in my home office, the room where I graded papers and planned lessons about wars and empires and the fall of civilizations, and I planned the fall of 2 women who thought I was too nice to fight back. The confrontation happened on a Saturday. I'd arranged everything perfectly. Told Vanessa I was going to a teachers' conference for the weekend. Let her think she had the house to herself. I knew she'd use it as an opportunity to see Marcus. What Vanessa didn't know was that I'd invited Lauren over for brunch at 11 a.m., claiming Vanessa wanted to surprise her. I sent the text from Vanessa's phone while she was in the shower that morning before she left. What Marcus didn't know was that I'd sent him a text from Vanessa's phone at 10:45 a.m. Change of plans. Come to my house. Daniel's gone. We have all day. And what I'd done was hired a professional videographer to set up cameras throughout my house, hidden but high quality. At 10:55 a.m., I let myself back into my own house and waited. Lauren arrived at 11 a.m., confused about why the door was unlocked but walking in anyway. Marcus arrived at 11:15 a.m., letting himself in with the key I knew Vanessa had given him. They ran into each other in my living room. Who are you? Lauren asked.
I'm Marcus.
Vanessa's friend. Who are you? I'm Lauren, her best friend. What are you doing here? I watched from the doorway. I invited you both. They spun around. Daniel, Lauren started. Sit down, I said calmly. Both of you. Man, I don't know what you think, Marcus began. I said sit. Something in my voice made them obey. I walked to the center of the room, standing where both cameras had the best angle. Lauren, we had coffee 2 weeks ago. Well, you had coffee with Michelle, who was actually me. You told me all about how you were manipulating my wife into having an affair, how you were coaching her to leave me because a stable life made you feel bad about your own failures. Lauren's face went white. Marcus, you've been sleeping with my wife for 6 weeks. Every Tuesday and Thursday after CrossFit. Also last weekend at the Marriott in Hartford. Room 412. Marcus looked like he wanted to run. Here's what's going to happen, I continued. Vanessa is going to arrive home in about 10 minutes. She thinks I'm at a conference. She's going to walk in and find both of you here. And then we are all going to have a conversation. You can't, Lauren started. I can and I am. You wanted to destroy my marriage? Congratulations. It's destroyed. But you're not walking away from this unscathed. This is insane, Marcus said. I'm leaving. Walk out that door, and the video of you and Vanessa at the hotel goes to your employer. CrossFit Edge has a morality clause in their trainer contracts. I checked. You'll be fired by Monday. Marcus froze. And Lauren? Walk out, and the recording of you admitting to manipulating Vanessa goes to everyone in her social circle. Every mutual friend. Every colleague. Everyone will know exactly what kind of person you are. You're bluffing, Lauren said, but her voice shook. Try me. We sat in silence for 8 agonizing minutes. Then I heard Vanessa's car in the driveway. She walked in looking at her phone, smiling at something. Probably a text from Marcus. She looked up and froze. Daniel? Lauren? Marcus? What? Surprise, I said flatly. We are having an intervention. About your affair. And about how your best friend engineered the whole thing. Vanessa's face cycled through shock, panic, and then anger. You have no right. I have every right. This is my house. My marriage. My life that you three have been playing with. I spent the next hour laying it all out. Showed them the evidence. Played them the recording of Lauren. Showed them the photos Ray had taken. The financial records proving Lauren's motive. Vanessa cried. Marcus tried to leave twice and I blocked the door both times. Lauren went from defensive to angry to finally, sickeningly, trying to play victim. I was just trying to help Vanessa be happy, Lauren insisted. You were trying to drag her down to your level, I corrected. You couldn't stand that she had the stability you'd thrown away. So you convinced her to throw it away too. That's not. It's exactly true, and we both know it. I turned to Vanessa. You want to know the saddest part? I would have worked on our marriage. If you'd come to me and said you were unhappy, we could have fixed it. Counseling. Changes. Whatever it took. But you didn't give me that chance because Lauren convinced you I wasn't worth the effort. Daniel, I'm so sorry, Vanessa sobbed. No, I said. You're sorry you got caught. There's a difference. I pulled out divorce papers. I am filing. The affair is documented. Connecticut is a no-fault state, but infidelity still matters for asset division. You'll get what's legally yours and not a penny more. Please, we can work this out. There's nothing to work out. You made your choice. Now live with it. I turned to Marcus. You're going to quit your job at CrossFit Edge. Tomorrow. You're going to tell them it's for personal reasons. If you don't, I release everything, and you'll be fired and probably sued for violating the morals clause. Marcus just nodded, looking sick. Finally, I looked at Lauren. You're the worst kind of person. The kind who destroys other people's happiness because you can't create your own. That recording of you admitting to manipulation? I'm keeping it. And if you ever contact Vanessa again, if you ever try to be part of her life in any way, I will make sure everyone knows what you did. You can't control who I'm friends with, Vanessa started. I'm not controlling anything. I'm just making sure Lauren understands the consequences if she keeps playing with people's lives. Lauren stood up, shaking with rage and shame. You think you're so smart. So noble. You're just. I'm just done, I said. Get out of my house. Both of you. Lauren and Marcus left. Vanessa stayed, crying on our couch. I didn't mean for this to happen, she whispered. Yes, you did. Every choice you made was intentional. Every lie. Every time you chose him over me. You meant all of it. Lauren was in my head. Lauren didn't make you do anything. She gave you permission to do what you wanted to do anyway. Own your choices, Vanessa. That was the last real conversation we had. The divorce took 4 months. Vanessa tried to reconcile 3 times. I refused each time. Not out of spite, but because trust, once broken that completely, can't be rebuilt. Lauren's life fell apart in ways I didn't orchestrate. I didn't need to. Word spread about what she'd done, not from me, but from Vanessa's friends who'd put the pieces together. She became a pariah. Last I heard, she moved to Florida to start over again. Marcus lost his job anyway. Not because I released anything, but because multiple women at the gym came forward with complaints about inappropriate behavior once the first domino fell. And Vanessa. She reached out 6 months after the divorce was final. You were right, she said. About everything. Lauren was poisoning me against you. Making me think I deserved more when what I actually deserved was to lose the best thing I had. I appreciate that, I said. But it doesn't change anything. I know. I just wanted you to know that I know. And I'm sorry. Really sorry. I hope you find whatever it is you're looking for, I said. And I meant it. Because here's the thing I learned. Forgiveness doesn't mean reconciliation. You can forgive someone for hurting you while still choosing not to let them hurt you again. A year later, I'm sitting in my home office, the same room where I planned the confrontation, grading papers and thinking about the lesson in all of this. I teach history. I teach about empires that fell because of internal betrayal, about leaders who trusted the wrong advisors, about wars that were lost because people didn't see the enemy inside their own gates. My marriage was like that. The enemy wasn't Marcus. It was Lauren. The poison wasn't the affair. It was the manipulation that led to it. But here's the real lesson. The one I try to teach my students and the one I learned the hard way. You can't protect yourself from betrayal by building walls. You protect yourself by paying attention, by trusting your instincts, by recognizing when someone's actions don't match their words. And when betrayal happens, you don't have to be cruel or vindictive. You just have to be clear about who you are and what you deserve. I deserved a partner who chose me. Vanessa didn't choose me. So I chose myself. People ask if I regret how I handled it. If the elaborate confrontation was too much. Maybe it was. Maybe I should have just quietly filed for divorce and walked away. But sometimes people need to face the full weight of their choices. Not for punishment. For accountability. Vanessa needed to see that her choices had consequences. Lauren needed to understand that manipulation has a price. Marcus needed to learn that actions matter. And I needed to prove to myself that being kind doesn't mean being weak. I'm dating again now. Someone I met at a teacher's workshop. She's a math teacher. Logical. Honest. Direct. We take things slow. We communicate. We respect each other's boundaries. She knows the whole story. I told her on our third date because I believe in honesty. You did what you had to do, she said. You protected yourself. That's not revenge. That's self-respect. Maybe she's right. Or maybe sometimes self-respect and revenge look a lot alike. Either way, I sleep better now than I did in the last year of my marriage. Because I'm not lying anymore. Not to anyone. Not even myself. Her best friend encouraged the affair. I got revenge. But the real revenge wasn't the confrontation or the divorce or the consequences they faced. The real revenge was this. I moved on. I healed. I built a better life. And they're still stuck in the wreckage of the choices they made. That's the lesson I teach now, both in my classroom and in my life. You can't control what people do to you, but you can control how you respond. And sometimes the best response isn't fighting back. It's walking away and building something better. Something they'll never be able to touch. That's true victory. And that's a lesson worth learning.